Well, hello there. Welcome back to the Geeknd Live. If you've been here before, we talk about together the latest Star Wars news and just have a bit of chat, bit of fun, really. If you're new here, that's still exactly what happens. And you're very welcome here. I'm Jamie. And in this week's Alleged Entertainment, let me tell you what we've got coming up. The Book of Boba Fett has a release date. Will we soon be getting a trailer? I have actually, for the first time, didn't even know you could do this. I've included a poll in the chat section. So if you're watching live, then answer the question accordingly in the poll in the chat. If you're watching in the future, talk to me in the comments about anything that we cover in this week's stream, the future, aka the replay here on YouTube. Also, Diego Luna talks Andor. He's confirmed that they have wrapped in the UK filming, and the series is moving into post-production. And he's also teased a few familiar faces that we might see from Rogue One, presumably in that series. And also, Daniel Craig talks about his stint as a Stormtrooper, which is very timely with the release of No Time to Die this week in some parts of the world, at least, including here in Mexico. So I'm going to go and see that at the weekend. But before we get into those stories, let's pop over to the chat and say hello. So I did see earlier, by the way, that Jane Flakes was here earlier. She posted a comment, which seems to have vanished, but she might not be able to make it tonight. But hello, Jane, when you do watch this on the replay in the future. Also, hello to Glenn, the geeky hippie, who correctly says that you should smash that like button. Glenn and I and Chad the Stopwatch Campbell actually had a sort of Geekend meetup the other day, a virtual meetup. So Glenn and Chad were together in the real world physically, and they sort of FaceTimed me, basically. So we had a bit of virtual FaceTime with each other, which was nice. Also, Peter is here. Good to see you, Peter, mate. And Simon D is in the house, as is Anders. Hello there to you. And there we go. So let's get into the first story, which Simon D, I know, is a big Bond fan. I haven't seen No Time to Die. There's not going to be any spoilers here from me, at least. Have you seen it yet, Simon? I know it's just come out in the UK. It is out here in Mexico. I know it's not out in the States until like 7th or 8th of October, but I'm going to go and see it on Sunday, I think. So we'll get into that in a moment. Hello again to Peter. Yeah, all's going okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm in me Mexico Airbnb. Need to get some Geeknd branding around me, maybe. Although I'm not sure what the landlord would think to that. But hope all is well with you, my friend. Marco as well. Good to see you, mate. And David's here. David is here. Yes, late, but better late than never, as you said, my friend. All right, then, so let's get into that first story. Daniel Craig talks about stormtrooping. So he spoke to BBC Radio 1 about the cameo in The Force Awakens back in 2015. So here's his quote about it. It goes as follows, in my words. Or my voice, at least. Daniel Craig's words, my voice. What a combination. That's the perk that opens a few doors, because I don't think I could have if I hadn't have been James Bond. So basically, he actually asked the second AD on Star Wars, who's also the second AD on Bond, or at least was at the time, and I'll continue with his quote here, a lovely guy called Ben Dixon. I said, Ben, come on, can we get me in as a stormtrooper? He went ahead and asked J.J. Abrams, and as we know, the rest is history. And I think I'm right in saying that he was one of the stormtroopers in the scene where Daisy Ridley, Rey, is in the kind of torture chamber with Kylo Ren. I think he's one of those stormtroopers. And I think this is cool because I remember talking about this years back where it was rumored and was never really confirmed. And I don't think Daniel Craig has ever really talked about how it actually came about. And I know it's a real short quote there, but I always imagined it was something that was probably pitched to him from the Star Wars side. You know, they're both at Pinewood Studios, Bond and Star Wars, not the other way around. And that's partly because, I don't know if you remember, Simon Pegg actually mistakenly leaked the news that Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper. in The Force Awakens. And then a journalist asked Daniel Craig about this in, a press junket or whatever, for whatever Daniel Craig was promoting at the time. And Daniel Craig reacted quite, I'm not going to say aggressively, but quite grumpily, let's say. He said something along the lines of, "What? Me? A stormtrooper? I'm James Bond. Don't be so stupid." And I don't think I saw the interview, so I'm just taking it, I'm just looking at the quote here, and to me that comes across as like a little bit kind of, angry. And I just always in my head, and it turns out in the end he was obviously, joking with the interviewer, but whether the interviewer had to wait a year or whatever to actually find out that it was a joke, and Daniel Craig doesn't really hate me. So yeah, that was in my head. So I always just imagined that it came from the Star Wars side. Hey, wouldn't it be cool to get James Bond as a stormtrooper? Let's go and ask if he'll do it. Not the other way around. Daniel Craig thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cool to be a stormtrooper? Could you please go and ask J.J. Abrams if I can be a stormtrooper? So I think that's really cool. Anyway, that's it, really, to be honest. I know Simon, again, is a big Bond fan, and he has confirmed that he has seen it. He saw No Time to Die earlier and won't spoil anything. Yeah, we'll talk next week about that. It is a Star Wars stream, but we'll talk about that next week, at least when I've seen it, and hopefully a few more have seen it. And we'll give a spoiler warning before we dive into that a bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I've really enjoyed the Daniel Craig run. And yes, I even liked Spectre. Do you know what? Spectre actually really kind of opened my eyes to Mexico City. Loved that opening scene. I'm going to say this now. I think it's one of the best Bond opening scenes. Said it. Anyway, I see Chad, the stopwatch Campbell, is here. He is here, and the timings have begun. So let's get into our second story. What is that second story? Oh, yeah, Diego Luna talking about Andor. So I am currently in Diego's home city. Hopefully we'll meet up at some point for some mezcal and a chat. But for now, he's been chatting to other people. Who knows whether it was over a mezcal or not? So I'm currently on a Gizmodo, and Diego Luna has been talking to Deadline. He's got to work his way up to be able to talk to me. If you want to roll with the big dogs, Jamie Stangram on the Geeknd, you've got to work your way up. So talking to Deadline is part of the process. So production has wrapped on the Disney Plus Cassian Andor series, according to Diego Luna in a new interview with Deadline, who also took the time to tease that the Star Wars series would bring back some familiar faces. Now, I am kind of looking forward to this series. It's not in my top 3 Star Wars series that I am looking forward to, but it's like 4th place, which I think is like a Champions League spot still. Partly just because of all the places they've been filming in the UK. I like doing the location videos. When this comes out, I'm going on a UK road trip. They were everywhere. And I think it's cool. When with The Mandalorian being so the volume heavy, I think it's cool that they're sort of using more traditional kind of movie, production values, if you like, with this series. But anyway, this is what Diego Luna said. You'll definitely see familiar faces. I can tell you about this project like no other because I can't spoil the ending. If you've seen Star Wars Rogue One already, no matter what I say, I can't ruin the ending. To be honest, yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. So all these characters that might be reintroduced, we all know that they'll most probably have an unhappy ending because they pretty much all did in Rogue One, didn't they? To be honest, it's been such a blessing to do this job and to do it under these circumstances. I had the chance to work with a team that I couldn't be more proud of and admire more. It's a hardcore moment to be out there shooting, and we were really lucky. We're done with the shooting now and getting it ready for audience to see it. Because I think Diego Luna's got a production or executive producer role on this series as well. Anyway, a bit more from him. While I can't say much, what I can tell you is that the experience was literally a transformation for me. It's something that I really wanted to do and that I thought I was not going to be able to do. I'm more than happy. Yeah, he did in the full interview tease about familiar faces. Now, but unfortunately, Gizmodo didn't really include it here. So that was good. Thanks, Gizmodo, for making my life more difficult on the stream. But yeah, I mean, I think we know about some of these already. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we know Mon Mothma's in it. I almost feel like that's confirmed. And Geneva O'Reilly, who played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, and also in the deleted scenes. in Revenge of the Sith as well. So I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed already. But yeah, there's loads more options, isn't there? I don't know if there's anyone that you would particularly like to see from Rogue One back. There's a few that wouldn't make sense, but there are some that would, like K2SO, Alan Tudyk. But I think Alan Tudyk has actually said that he won't be showing up for a while. And this is going to be multi-season. So I don't think we'll be seeing K2SO in season 1. So that's one that's probably not going to happen. But one I was thinking, Gaz Nottingham has confirmed that Mon Mothma is confirmed. Thank you, Gaz. One I think will happen, and this could happen at the beginning, or it could be a character that's introduced later on. Daniel Mays. Now, I don't know the name of his character in Rogue One. Do you remember though? He's there right at the beginning of the film. He's he's one of the spies that Andor kills. Literally puts a bullet in his back, doesn't he? Now Daniel Mays is in the UK at least a very busy actor, and I think he could have a bit of a role in this film, which would make the moment where Andor, you can see Andor doesn't want to do what he's got to do, but he's got to do what he's got to do and kill this guy. It would add a little bit more impact to that, to have the backstory to their friendship, their relationship, their professional relationship, whatever it may be, before he does shoot him in the back. So I think that's one that could pop up, and also. And yeah, all right, this is part plug as well for an interview that I did. I also think General Draven, played by my friend Alistair Petrie. I don't know, that's me. That's not Alistair Petrie. I'm probably not going to show up. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm open to it. Season 2, baby. Alistair Petrie played General Draven in Rogue One. And I think if Mon Mothma's there, he's like always at Mon Mothma's side in Rogue One. So they're obviously similar level in the ranks of the Rebel Alliance. So at some point, he's got to show up. And I spoke to him pretty much a year ago. So I released this video on the 3rd of November. And you know what I'm like, take a while to edit. So I probably spoke to him late September, October. At that point, and I believe him because he told me this off the record and on the record, he hopes to come back. But at this point in time, he doesn't know. And therefore didn't rule it out. And of course, their filming really ramped up really early 2021 and has gone right through to now pretty much. So I'm very sure that we'll see Alistair Petrie, General Draven at some point. He will be one of those familiar names, I am sure. But that's not an exclusive or anything. Although we'll definitely get Alistair back on the channel at some point. Oh yeah, Jimmy Smits would be great. And Alistair Petrie would probably have that on his rider, that I will only turn up and shoot this if Jimmy Smits is here as well. Because remember, he was a huge Jimmy Smits fan and was really geeking out on set of Rogue One that he got to work with Jimmy Smits. So yeah, I think that's a great shout as well, Simon. Right, I'm going to pop over to a few more comments before we took the Book of Boba. Where was I? Yeah, Chad, you're right. Spectre has a solid opening scene, and then that's not fair. The rest that you said in that sentence, and yes, it was Chad's documentary. It was a film festival where Chad and Glenn met up, and No Time for Video. Chad's documentary was being screened there. Peter, and this is to do with Daniel Craig's Stormtrooper role. Not sure I'm happy with famous people taking small parts in films, takes jobs away from struggling, not so famous actors. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's a PR thing. It's a vanity thing for Daniel Craig. And why on earth would Star Wars say no? Because it's a PR thing, isn't it? It's great publicity because I think Ed Sheeran played a Stormtrooper since. I think didn't Prince William and who's the other one? Harry. They played ones and it got cut. I think Tom Hardy played one. It's a vanity thing for the actor or the member of the royal family or the musician. But yeah, and again, why would the film company not want that publicity? But I agree. I agree with you, Peter. Yes, he can't climb a fence, so gets killed. Harsh. Chad says, I think somehow the Bad Batch and random Clone Wars characters and Ahsoka will somehow appear in Andor. It seems to be the way. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's this I mean, with the Clone Wars Bad Batch and Mando, you can call it the Filoni-verse. Filoni's not involved, as far as I know, with Andor. But yeah, that does seem to be the way to try and connect things, join the dots, and what have you. Glenn says, I don't care if my girl Ahsoka shows up, but I want to see Rex, Wolf, and Gregor to show up. That could happen with the timeline, couldn't it? And then Simon's Jimmy Smith's comment again. And yeah, Gaz Nottingham actually on the line of Glenn here as well, I think. I still need to watch Rebels, though. Would like to see some characters from Rebels crossing into the Andor show. Yeah, it's a really good point. It's probably going to happen, isn't it? Because, again, the timeline allows. Have I approached Jimmy Smiths for an interview? I haven't. But I shouldn't I, really? I absolutely should. It's an awkward time because, let's be honest, he probably is going to be involved with Andor. So it's an awkward time to do it because you just saw that quote I read from Diego Luna. They can't say anything, so it's better to wait until the thing's out and they're a bit more free of the fear of giving away spoilers or what have you. You can see Chopper being mentioned. Didn't Chopper have a cameo in Rogue One? I know C-3PO and R2-D2 did. And I don't know much about Chopper, but I'm pretty sure I remember Chopper was an Easter egg in Rogue One. Or am I wrong now? I'm often wrong. Anyway, I'll come back to the chat in a moment. Let's do the final story. Hey, Chad might actually hit the 30-minute mark. So this is probably the big Star Wars news of the week. And I'm just trying to get the link up. So there we go. Did you hear about this? There's been some Boba Fett news. The Book of Boba Fett news we've received. And it feels like I've been digesting in the stomach of a sarlacc, waiting for some solid details on this. And finally, we have an actual release date, which is nice. And that release date is December 29th, 2021. So we always knew it was going to be in December. Unfortunately, it's right at the end of December, but it's nice to finally have an actual release date. I think, and that will be, of course, episode 1. I don't think this has been confirmed, but it's rumored that, like Mando, there'll be 8 episodes in the season. And here are some words from a Star Wars press release. They've described it as a thrilling Star Wars adventure. I mean, they would, to be fair. The Book of Boba Fett finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shand navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate. So, Tamara Morrison, Ming-Na Wen, they lead the Book of Boba Fett cast. We don't have much more info on who else might be appearing. And the Mandalorian heavy crossover continues because it is executive produced by the Mandalorians, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Robert Rodriguez, who, of course, took on some directing duties in Mandalorian Season 2. And as you can see there, we have a poster. We're being truly spoiled, sort of, because it's a new, not really new, poster, isn't it? It's a version of an image we saw in the post-credit sequence in The Mandalorian. It's like the lazy YouTube option of using a screenshot for your video thumbnail. Unless this is the series, which is possible, just Boba sitting around in his throne, and I'd probably still watch it. But personally, I don't need any reveals or big teases just yet. I'm happy to have that date I can put in my diary. Because the reveals will come, probably in a trailer. Speaking of which, what about that? Because often a poster is swiftly followed by a trailer. You know, on social media, especially, you'll get the poster. Next thing you know, even a day later, you can have the trailer drop. But I don't think one is imminent here, especially as the show is so late in December. I mean, basically, this show is next year. This show is basically 2022. So I don't think we're going to get a trailer anytime soon. But what seems to make more sense is on the Disney Plus Day. That is, I think November 12th is Disney Plus Day. And they've already announced that there's going to be a Boba Fett special, which is more exploring the background of the character. So that's going to be released on Disney Plus Day. And I think that's exploring the the history of the character, from a behind the scenes point of view and a canon point of view, I suppose, as well. So I'm thinking there we'll probably get like the kind of, the behind the scenes sort of sizzle reels that we've had in the past. It would be weird because this is going to be like presumably a documentary vibe, this program. So it would be weird to have a trailer in it unless it plays at the start or at the end, kind of standalone. So I'm thinking with this show, we're probably going to get sizzle reel type behind the scenes type kind of content and shots. But I think date wise, if it is November 12th, Disney Plus Day, probably should have checked before I went live. I think that's a pretty sound kind of ballpark date to release a trailer finally for something that's coming out, 6 weeks later or so. So I've got a feeling perhaps after the Boba Fett program hits Disney Plus, the trailer maybe a day later or the same day might drop on the social medias, on the YouTubes and what have you. Because also, obviously, it's going to start ramping up the hype for this series, but also it might persuade people to go who aren't subscribed to Disney Plus at the moment, are going to resubscribe when the Book of Boba starts. It might send people over to Disney Plus now to go and watch this Boba Fett special program, with extra behind the scenes footage and whatever else, all that jazz. And I hope Jeremy Bulloch gets some nice mentions in that program. But that's my feeling. I think we are going to get a trailer pretty soon, and I think it is going to be on or around Disney Plus Day. So what do you guys think? I actually did a poll for anyone on the live. Oh, it is November 12th. I wrote that in the poll question. Will there be a Book of Boba Fett trailer on Disney Plus Day, November 12th? And in the poll, 87% of you believe we will get a trailer. I agree, at least around then, at least. And that's cool. It's exciting. It feels like a long, long time since we've had new Star Wars. I know there was the Bad Batch. But that's not everyone's, cup of Star Wars tea, is it? So it feels a long time since The Mandalorian Season 2 ended. Right, I'm going to pop back to the chat now. Let's see what's going on. What's Rick McCallum up to these days? Funnily enough, I'm making a video on that, and he would be a great person to chat with. He's not producing anything with George Lucas. He's actually lives in Prague these days. Wait for the video. But I did try to get an interview with him a little while ago, and he kind of agreed and then vanished. But it is something I'm going to revisit. But I'm doing a video about what's happened to Rick McCallum, and that will be coming out quite soon. Okay, Gaz has confirmed that I wasn't wrong. Chopper was in Rogue One and the Ghost as well. Gaz also says that Boba Fett poster is awesome. Loving the slight changes to the armor / outfit. And Frogger's here. Fell asleep after dinner. Woke up almost in time for the stream. Hi, everyone. Speaking of which, that reminds me, next week, and this might even be worse for you, Frogger, if you regularly fall asleep after dinner. I'm going to try an hour later next week because I noticed last week, this time, particularly for people in Europe, like 8 p.m. in the UK, 9 p.m. in Germany, I think, for Frogger, it was clashing with dinner time, especially 8 p.m. in the UK. So I'm going to try 9 p.m. I'm just sort of tinkering at the moment till we get the best time that suits as many people as possible. We'll never be able to suit everybody, of course. So going to try an hour later next time. So that'll be, sorry, Frogger, 10 p.m. in Germany. That'll be 9 p.m. in the UK and 3 p.m. here in Mexico City, which is Central Time. And Chad has left. Chad has gone. And actually, we're going to make it, Chad. Don't worry. Once again, we're gonna hit this in 30 minutes, this stream, which we strive to do, unless I start rambling. And Chad, on the occasions that we have managed it, has not been here to witness it in the past, and he's not going to be here to witness it now. Chrome Dome's here as well. Hope you're well, mate. Good to see you here. And also, thank you for confirming that. It's 4 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. CST from David there. David, you've not done your thing of saying smash that like button, everybody. Glenn, the geeky hippie, is going to put you out of a job because he said it earlier. And the stream's coming to an end soon. So you've got to get that comment in, David. It's your duty. And also, Peter, I think you were asking about the Wheel of Time, weren't you, a few weeks ago? Sorry if I've just invented this, but Glenn the Geeky Hippies channel is live now about the Wheel of Time, covering all of that stuff. Marco asks, Jamie, do you still have any of your Star Wars vintage figures from your childhood? I hate the fact that now, figures that from my childhood are classed as vintage. Because I've got an older brother, and he had like the OG figures, so I think of them as vintage. But now there's a generation that will think of my figures as vintage. And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And actually, I didn't have time in the end before coming away, but I was going to do, because I've been ordered by my mum at her house to clear out some boxes that are up in like the loft, the attic, and there will be a lot up there. So I said to a few people that I'll do like a dusty unboxing video, and I just didn't have the time before going away. But when I do get back home, that's something I'm going to do, Marco. So the answer is yes, and I'll do a video on them at some point, probably next year now, but at some point. Sorry, Frogger. Set that alarm. But we're just testing. We're just testing times at the moment. These are testing times, of course. Yes, Glenn's your man if you want to talk about the Wheel of Time. And I will be learning about it because I'm watching Glenn's channel, and I will watch the series. I'm not reading the books, but I'll watch the series when it starts. Starting soon, isn't it? As well. Here we go. All righty, folks, from David. Smash that bloody like button, guys and gals. He's right. Do it. So I think that brings us to the end. If I've missed anything, you've got like a minute now to copy and paste it back into the chat. But if you're watching in the future as well, get in touch in the comments. I reply to pretty much all the comments. So thank you if you are watching in the future for joining. Don't forget, if you don't follow already, check out the Geeknd on social media. On YouTube, it is at the Geeknd YT. Sorry, Twitter at the Geeknd YT. Instagram is the same, at the Geeknd YT. And Facebook is just at the Geeknd, actually, / the Geeknd. Simon D says, it's coming up for the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. We should do something for that next year. Yeah, we should. We should maybe get you on, Simon, a stream. Talk about the your prequel edit as well. Perhaps that could work. But yeah, I imagine they'll definitely do some official coverage of that as well. I don't think Rick McCallum's even popped up at any celebrations recently, because they had the big Phantom Menace, didn't they, anniversary, which Ahmed Best went to, and George Lucas was there. But I don't think Rick McCallum's been popping up. So I wonder if he's sort of really turned his back on it, on Star Wars at least. But he's very busy, and again, more on that in my video, but you could just Google what he's doing these days, I guess. But no, wait and watch my video. I'm going to watch Rebels. I am looking forward to June. I'm looking forward to No Time to Die. Going to see that on Sunday because it is out here in Mexico before the States, and also Venom as well. But June's on the list for sure, man. Skywalker Sounds popped in right at the end. Good to see you, Skywalker Sound, my friend. As a European, I already watched Dune, Frogger says. I quite liked it. Definitely better than the 84 version. I'm not sure when it's out here in Mexico, but again, it's on the list. Have you seen it, Marco? Have you seen it? I know there's been some reviews popping up on YouTube. Peter has asked, has anybody already seen Isaac Asimov's Foundation series episodes on Apple TV? I can recommend it. There is some War Among the Stars in it. I haven't seen it. I have to check that out. I haven't got Apple TV, and I really want to see. What's the football with the American Ted Lasso? I really want to see Ted Lasso because everyone's raving about it. So maybe I need to look into getting Apple TV and also watch the Foundation series that you mentioned there, Peter, as well. Marco says, no, hasn't seen it, didn't think it was out yet. It obviously is in some parts of Europe, Germany at least, because Frogger's seen it, I assume, legally. And I've definitely seen reviews popping up on YouTube, which I've ignored because, again, I haven't seen it. Yes, Anders, the secret's out. I did move to Mexico just to see No Time to Die a little bit earlier than at least people in America. It's had the same release date as the UK here in Mexico. Don't know why. Maybe that's a normal thing here in Mexico. I don't really know, but yeah, it's out here. I'm going to give it a few days because I don't want to go to a really busy screening. So I'm probably going to go on Sunday. like I said. I hate sand and 20-year anniversary screenings. They are, of course, and get everywhere. Good point there. Good point. Yes, Skywalker Santa made the move. It will be 4 weeks on Wednesday next week that I've been here. The September heat's not been great. It's actually mostly been warmer in the UK since I got here, and drier as well. It's been pretty wet and grey here, but that will change because I already know in Europe it's definitely getting more autumnal. And Mexico City is kind of spring-like all year round. It doesn't always very often get mega hot, but it's definitely going to get a little bit better and much better than the UK in the coming weeks and months. Right, everybody. Thank you once again for joining. We will be back next week, same day, different time, remember. So 9 p.m. if you're GMT, 10 p.m. if you're in it's Central Europe time, isn't it? If you're Frogger in Germany, and 3 p.m. Central Time. And David very kindly put in the Eastern Time, and I can't remember what it is now. And I can't find the comment. Oh, there it is, 4 p.m. Eastern. Right, everybody. Thank you again for joining, and I will speak to you next week. So take care with your life in general. I hope everything goes well for you, and I'll see you next week. All right, I'm going to keep waving until I've hit the end broadcast button and the broadcast has actually ended. Keep waving, everyone. Keep waving.